This is your host, Armand Sadeghi, and I want to welcome you to the Titanium Life Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about modeling. Have you ever wondered, what is it that makes the difference between the best in the world and those who don't quite make it? You know, you watch the Olympics and you wonder, what is the difference between gold and silver? What is the difference between the people who get the medals at the Olympics and the people who never make it to the Olympics? In business, what's the difference that makes the biggest difference? Right? In life, you see people who have these incredible relationships. What is it about those people? What are they doing? What's the difference? And of course, so many people want to first talk about genetics and they want to talk about luck. Why? Because that takes the onus off of us and puts it on something else. That makes it okay to feel. It makes it acceptable for us to be less than we deserve to be. But today I want to tell you, first of all of that stuff is bogus. You cannot blame your problems on genetics and on bad luck. And you cannot take the success that others have had and give all the credit to genetics and good luck. It's just not the way that it works. The most successful people are the most successful people in the world because they consistently do things that the rest do not do. That is a fact. I want you to write that down and make sure you always remember. The most successful people do things on a consistent basis that the rest simply do not do or will not do or refuse to do. That's it. That's what makes the difference in every single area. Now, look, no one's got it all figured out. It's not like there's someone out there who's doing it right in every single area of their lives and in their business. No. So what you want to do is surround yourself with successful people and then pay attention to what they do in the areas in which they're successful. Some of my mentors, for example, who've been incredible mentors in business are people I would never want to learn from when it comes to how to deal with their children, how to deal with their spouse, right? Some of the people I know who have the best relationships in the world, I'd never want to take business advice from, right? I've got some friends, for example, in the gym who are absolutely incredible, but I would never want to take nutrition advice from them. Why? Because they know exactly how to succeed in the gym, right? And they have these big, huge, bulky bodies, but they don't know how to eat. They don't know how to eat healthy to keep trim. And for me, that's what I want. So see, in every area of your life, what you have to do is you have to watch and listen very, very carefully to what successful people are doing. And you've got to remember that success is always leaving clues. But it's all about watching and listening carefully. And not always just listening to what they tell you. Because see, most successful people don't actually know what makes them successful. They have no clue. In areas of their life where they're incredibly successful, often they don't know what that little bit is. And so what you've got to do is you've got to watch them carefully. Look at their mannerisms. Look at the little things they do. And you'll recognize that, wow, there's these little things that make the biggest differences, right? And when you watch those things, that's what's going to allow you to be able to model them to a way that no one else can. And one of the examples I always give is that I used to always tell people, I used to say, you should eat 6 small meals a day if you want to be healthy. That's what I used to always preach. For years, that's what I taught people. And then I got around this really, really brilliant guy who was talking to me one time at the gym, one of my really good friends. And Jason asked me, he says, Armand, what do you think is the best diet to have? Because you've got this incredible body. And Jason, who's one of the best photographers in the world, by the way, had just got done doing a photo shoot with me. And so he asked me, he said, Armand, what do you think is the secret? And I said, oh, well, you have to eat 6 small meals a day. And he looked at me and he said something no one had ever asked me. He said, is that what you do? And I said, well, of course not. If I did that, I'd be fat. And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, no, I can't eat 6 small meals a day. I've tried that stuff. I'll eat the first small meal. And then the second meal, I'll cheat a little bit and have some crappy food along with it. And then by the third meal, I'll be like, so sick, I won't want to eat and I'm too busy to eat. And the fourth meal, there's no way. I mean, that's the afternoon. I'm way too busy to eat then. And then I was like, then the 5th meal comes around and then I eat like a pig. And then I have to eat a 6th meal, which I can't stand doing, later at night. And he was like, so then why do you tell people to have 6 small meals a day? I said, well, that's because that's what works. That's the best diet. He said, but it's not the best diet for you, is it? I said, no. He said, what do you do? I said, well, I get up in the morning. I told him what I did. And then he was like, well, Armand, that's brilliant because that's what you do. But I'd never thought about actually teaching people what I actually did. What I wanted to talk to people about at that time was what would I tell people is the best thing to do, right? Not what actually worked for me. So Jason did something really brilliant. And that is he was paying more attention to what I do than what I say. And that's the key. See, successful people do things on a consistent basis that unsuccessful people simply don't do. Your job is to, number one, get around successful people. surround yourself with successful people. And number two, watch what they're doing. Listen to them. Pay careful attention to the little things that they do. And you'll see that successful people consistently do things that unsuccessful people simply don't do. Now, people always ask me, Armand, you say to surround yourself with successful people. What do I do with all my unsuccessful friends? Do I get rid of them? And in some cases I say no, because you should surround yourself with unsuccessful people too, because guess what? They're the perfect example of what not to do. So when it's Monday, and it's Monday at like 4 p.m., guess what all your unsuccessful friends are going to tell you to do? Hey, Monday Night Football tonight. Want to go get some beer and watch the game and, have some chicken wings? And as soon as you hear that, you go, okay, note to self. Unsuccessful friends want to watch Monday Night Football on Mondays. And then call some of your successful friends, right? And ask them, say, hey, what are you doing tonight? Or maybe call them on Tuesday morning, right? And say, what did you do last night? Because maybe if you call them, they'll give you a different answer, right? But see what they do. And I'm not saying that all successful people on Mondays do a specific thing and that none of them watch football. That's not true. Many successful people watch Monday Night Football. But if you start paying attention, you'll notice that the successful people are consistently focused on the things that push them ahead. So the successful people who are married and have kids on a Monday night are probably spending time with their families. And if they're not spending their time with their families and they are watching the game, they're probably watching it with their best friends and they're watching it in a way that really pushes them forward, right? Or maybe they're working, maybe they're traveling, or maybe, heck, they packed their bags and they went to the actual Monday Night Football game, right? Whereas your unsuccessful friends, you might find out, do something different. And then there's Taco Tuesday. And then you get to Wednesday. And well, it's hump day now. And then Thursday, hey, the weekend is starting, right? So there's always those things. And what you want to do is watch what successful people are doing and pay careful attention and take notice of the things they do. And then you do this thing called modeling. Modeling is where once you've watched what they do, you attempt to do it yourself. And you start to do those things. Now, don't just do anything. Do things that are the things that are causing them to have success. And it means watching carefully. And sometimes you're going to have to see it in multiple people. This is why we say success leaves clues. And what you want to do is you want to surround yourself with successful people, many successful people, right? Because you start noticing the things that they have in common, right? Because everyone's got faults. Everyone's got things they're really good at and the things that they're not so good at, right? And they've got good habits and bad habits. And at first it's hard to tell because you get around a successful person and you want to believe everything they're doing is perfect. It's not true. So what you do is you surround yourself with multiple successful people and you start looking at the things that they all have in common. And keep in mind, your mentor in business does not necessarily have to be your mentor when it comes to relationships or in parenting or in sports or in something else. Now, some of the mentors you'll find, just like I said, success leaves clues. Often you find people who are successful in one area of their lives. Many of them are successful in multiple areas of their lives. So they can be a mentor for you in multiple areas. Now, here's the thing. As you're watching people, what you want to do is you want to make sure that first you're watching them, okay? And you're paying attention and you're listening to them. But you're looking for the little things. You see, in life, I believe it's the little things that make the bigger differences. Most people look for the big things. And it's often not the big things that make the biggest differences. You look at finances, for example, and I've got a whole episode where I'm going to talk to you about finances. And in fact, I've got this interview coming up with an incredible man that when you hear the interview with him, you're going to be blown away. This is someone who told me that at one point in his life, when his business had just closed down, he was really trying to tighten up his expenses and they went down to their bare bone expenses. And he was telling me that they were spending over $2 million a month, including $200,000 a month in gardening. Okay, and this is at a time where his business had just gone under. And this man's story is incredible. And I'm going to introduce him to you. I'm going to interview him for you in one of my upcoming episodes here. And it's going to blow you away. But you see, when you talk to people and you talk to successful people, it's those little things. So when it comes to finances and you watch people who are successful, people think it's the big things. But it's not, because you take people who are broke and you give them a $50,000 bonus. And I know this because I'm in business and I have a lot of employees. And the broke people 3 months later are broke still. But then you take someone else and you give them a slight pay raise, right? And over time, what you see is they end up doing better than the person who got the $50,000 pay raise, even if that didn't add up to $50,000. So it's the little things that make the biggest differences, not the big things. It's the little things. It's the 5 or 6 minutes you snooze your alarm clock in the morning. It's the little bit of the cheat foods that you eat with your meal. It's the days you skip the gym because you say, well, today I have an injury. Oh, well, I didn't get enough sleep. Oh, or I'm busy. Oh, I don't know, I'm hungover. I've got this, I've got that. The excuses that you give. It's all about the little things in life. Or, when it comes to your loved ones, when it comes to your significant other, it's the little things you say to them or the little things you forget to say to them. It's when your wife walks into a room and she looks beautiful and you don't tell her she looks beautiful because you assume she already knows. It's the little things. Like when someone does something kind for you and you take just that extra second to look them in the eyes and from the bottom of your heart say thank you. Or it's when you give someone a hug and you hold on to that hug for one extra second, even a half a second. Have you ever felt that? You're giving someone a hug and either you or them, they hold you for just one extra second when you try to let go and they don't. Or you don't. Right? As long as it's someone who wants to hug you. Don't try this with people who don't want to hug you. They might not like that extra second. But if you get out there and you do those little things and you look for the little things that the successful people do and then model them. Do those little things like they do and see if you get the results. And of course, you can talk to them as well. You can ask them what they do. But remember, the most important thing is watch what they do, listen to what they say, and notice what are they doing that the rest of the people don't do. What are those little things that are making all the difference? It's the simple things like that that make all the difference in life, my friends. So today, I want to tell you, get out there, surround yourself with the most successful people you can, and keep in mind, successful people are everywhere. That means it's not about going to find the people who are rich and famous. It's about finding successful people. You might have successful people all around you and you haven't bothered to look because remember, people are successful in different areas of their lives. And that's what you're looking at. So when you're with someone, even if they don't have as much financial success as you, even if they don't have as much success as you in certain areas, understand that there's so many different areas to life. Find the areas in which they are successful and look at what they do that makes all that difference. All right, so make sure you join me on all these episodes. And please, if you're getting a lot of value out of these things, it's free. Get it to your friends, get it to your family, make Facebook posts, Instagram, Twitter, email people, whatever you can do. Let's get the word out on the Titanium Life podcast. The feedback coming back has been incredible. So here we are, less than 10 episodes into this thing, and we've been shooting up the charts on iTunes. And we've been getting a huge following, but it's not enough. Let's get the word out to more people and let's have more people influenced by these beautiful positive things that I'm putting out into the world. I do this because I want to make a difference. Please spread the word by sharing this with the people that you love. I love you all, and I'm so excited that as of today, you're going to be modeling the best people in the world and making sure that you're taking your life to another level. I love you, and I want to remind you, lead with your heart. Join me next time as I talk about a way to take your business to a whole nother level and revolutionize your industry. This is your host. I was about to say this is your host, Titanium Life. No, it's not. It's the little things, like when someone looks into your eyes. It's the little things, like when someone looks into your eyes. Oh, shoot, that's not it. It's the little things.